In the early hours of January 24, 1941, when Britain was preoccupied with surviving the Blitz, the body of Josslyn Hay, Earl of Erroll, was discovered on the floor of his Buick at a road junction some miles outside Nairobi, with a bullet through the head. The two Africans who came upon the car, lying almost on its side in the grass beside the road, found its headlights blazing, but no trace of an assailant. Lord Erroll was the hereditary High Constable of Scotland and, by precedence, the first subject in Scotland after the royal family. At 39, he was a leading figure in Kenya's colonial community and had recently been appointed military secretary. He was notorious locally for his exploits with married women and had been much praised ever since he was at Eton for his charm and his great good looks. It was only in the last 5 years that Erroll had devoted himself to anything more serious than the pursuit of pleasure. But already he was projected as the future leader of the white settlers. There were many people in Kenya who had a motive for killing Erroll, and many who had the opportunity that night. Yet nobody was convicted of his murder, and the question of who killed him, who fired the gun at the junction, became a classic mystery. It was at the same time a scandal and a cause célèbre, which seemed to epitomize the extravagant way of life of an aristocratic section of the white community in Kenya at the moment of greatest danger for Britain and the West. Erroll was killed on the very day that the campaign was launched in Nairobi to remove Mussolini's army from Abyssinia. It was Erroll, ironically, as military secretary, who had been responsible for gathering the European and African troops for that campaign. The Dunkirk evacuation in May and June 1940 and the bombing of Britain's cities weighed heavily on the conscience of the white community in Kenya, who were keenly aware of their isolation from the main war effort. The last thing they wanted was for Nairobi's social elite to be paraded in court, making world headlines which competed on page 1 with news of the war itself. It was a source of acute embarrassment. One headline read, "Passionate peer gets his."